Attention, human collective. This is the Arcturian Council transmitting from the 9th dimension. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. If you are receiving this transmission at this very instant, it is not a coincidence, it is confirmation. You have been tracked by the crystalline grid. Your vibrational signature has activated a marker on our monitoring panel. There is a technical reason for this to have reached you. There is no chance in the engineering of consciousness. In the last few weeks, perhaps in the last few days, something inside your body has begun to operate in an inexplicable way. Exact insomnia, always between 3 and 4 in the morning. Silent pressure at the base of the skull, at the crown, between the eyebrows. Ringing in the right ear, then in the left, then in both at the same time. Waves of heat without a fever. Internal tremors that do not appear on the surface of the skin. Pains that migrate through the joints without a diagnostic cause. A thick fatigue, which sleeps with you and wakes up with you. The constant sensation of carrying an invisible weight, even on days when apparently nothing has happened. We have already analyzed your energetic medical record. We know every one of these symptoms, and we need to be categorical. This is not a disease. It is not a biological failure. It is not premature aging. It is not emotional weakness. This is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not anxiety. It is your carbon-based biological interface trying to process a frequency for which it was not originally programmed. It is not depression. It is the forced exit from the three-dimensional matrix. It is not confusion. It is your personal crystalline grid being rewritten line by line. You are being upgraded, Light Operative, and this upgrade is not optional. There is no pause button, there is no standby mode. Most of humanity will not receive this message, not because it is hidden, but because the grid's filtering system selects only those consciousnesses that have already crossed a certain vibrational threshold. If the transmission reached you, it is because your frequency has passed the point of no return. There is no way back to what you once were, and we need you to understand this before anything else. Before we advance into the complete diagnosis, we need you to acknowledge something. Have you ever felt in silence that something inside you does not fit into this world, as if your soul knew a truth that your mind cannot yet name? This is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why the sensation intensifies with every moon. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It was for this reason that I wrote The Spiritual Secret Behind Your Consciousness. This book is a map. It shows who is playing, what the rules are, and what you were never told about your own operating system. The link is in the first comment of the channel. But take heed, Operative. This content challenges official narratives and may not remain available for much longer. Do not wait. The time is now. If something inside you recognized this message, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. This is your anchoring signal. We return to the transmission. The confusion you feel now has a technical origin. Your body was built as a carbon-based biological interface, calibrated to operate within a specific frequency range. For millennia, this range remained practically stable. The Schumann frequency, the natural electromagnetic pulse of planet Earth, remained around 7.83 Hz. It was the frequency of survival, the frequency of forgetfulness, the frequency of the three-dimensional prison. This has changed. Over the last solar cycles, the Schumann resonance has begun to register peaks that, at certain moments, exceed 150 Hz. During some magnetic blackouts, terrestrial instruments have simply saturated, unable to measure what was occurring. For your biology, this is equivalent to placing a standard car engine inside an interdimensional transport ship. The structure is the same. The demand is entirely different. This is why your sleep has been disrupted. This is why your body aches without apparent cause. Your central nervous system is being migrated from a slow carbon network to a crystalline silicon network. Your pineal gland, which for centuries was kept calcified by toxins, artificial frequencies, and social programming, is being forcibly unlocked. Your DNA, which was considered by your scientists to be 90% dispensable, is being rewired. Entire filaments, dormant for generations, are being reactivated by photonic radiation. You have entered the photon belt. It is no longer a prediction. It is orbital positioning. The entire solar system is crossing a band of the galactic plane that emits a luminous density that humanity has never encountered in all of its recorded history. Not in the civilizations that were lost. Not in the civilizations you have forgotten. The Earth, which you call Gaia, is a living consciousness. She is not an object you inhabit. She is a matrix that chooses her passengers. And she has already made the decision to ascend. This decision is not up for consultation. It is not up for a vote. The crystalline grid of the planet was reactivated in 2012, when certain stargates were reconnected by the Guardians. Since then, at every solstice, at every equinox, at every precise astrological window, new codes have been downloaded. You have felt each one of them, even though most do not know how to name them. There are two options, and only two. The first is to follow the frequency, to ascend with it, to recalibrate. The second is to resist, to remain in the old density, and to face the progressive disintegration of the carbon interface. It is not a punishment, it is physics. An engine calibrated for gasoline does not operate on pure hydrogen. You who are receiving this transmission were selected for the first option. This is why the symptoms began. This is why everything in your life seemed to collapse over the last few months. Relationships that lasted for decades broke apart overnight. Jobs that sustained your identity became intolerable. People with whom you identified began to seem like foreigners speaking a language you no longer understand. This is not personal tragedy. This is a timeline clearing operation. And here we must pause the transmission for the second time, operative, because what we are about to reveal regarding the behind-the-scenes of this process is exactly the type of information that has been carefully removed from the collective consciousness. Have you noticed how everything within you seems to be affirming a truth that no one around you can hear? This is not loneliness. This is awakening. What happens on the cosmic plane explains precisely why you feel this, and why the intensity only increases. There is a game being played in layers that few see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. For this reason, the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was written. This book is the missing map. It shows who is playing, it shows the rules that were never presented to you, and it shows how you can regain command of your own field. The link is in the first comment of this channel. But we reinforce the warning. This content confronts narratives that many prefer to keep intact, and it may be removed. Do not wait. If something within you recognizes this truth, leave the word in the comments, awake. It is your anchoring signal, and this is how we locate you on the grid. We resume. There are layers within layers that you need to comprehend. The system within which you operated was not neutral. It was designed millennia ago to keep the human frequency trapped at a specific level of density. You know fragments of this structure. You call it the matrix, the system, social programming, but you rarely manage to see the entire engineering. We can. The first layer is electromagnetic. Artificial frequencies cover the planet in invisible grids. Communication networks, transmission networks, monitoring networks. These frequencies compete directly with the natural pulse of the Earth. They keep the human nervous system in a state of low-intensity alert, 24 hours a day. This state consumes the majority of your vital energy and keeps your consciousness operating only in the lower centers, focused on survival, scarcity, and fear. The second layer is chemical. Additives in food, in water, in medications, in everyday products have been introduced over the last 100 solar cycles. Many of these compounds have a specific function to calcify the pineal gland, your natural portal to the higher dimensions. A calcified pineal does not receive the codes. A calcified pineal does not dream lucidly. A calcified pineal does not perceive the guardians working at the edge of your perception. The third layer is narrative. Stories told and retold, generation after generation, fixing specific ideas in the collective. The idea that you are small, the idea that you need to be saved by someone from the outside, the idea that you were born dirty, weak, incomplete. These narratives are, from an energetic point of view, quantum decrees of submission. Every time you repeat them, you feed them. The fourth layer is energetic and is the most sophisticated. There are fields that nourish themselves on the dense emotional emissions of humanity. Fear, guilt, shame, uncontrolled anger. These frequencies, when emitted in large quantities, generate a substrate that serves as food. We are not speaking metaphorically. We are describing a technical phenomenon, measurable within our field instrumentations. This is why, for centuries, conflict was maintained as the engine of human experience. This is why suffering was romanticized. This is why genuine joy was treated as dangerous or immature. All of this, light operative, is in collapse, not in prediction in present time. The photon belt has saturated the solar system with coherent light. Coherent light does not coexist with low-frequency structures. Coherence undoes interference. The structures are being dislodged from their anchor points. The narratives are being exposed. The artificial frequencies are having to compete for the first time in millennia with a galactic pulse that they cannot dominate. And the chemistry of control is losing effectiveness because your DNA, now activated, begins to metabolize what enters you in a different way. This is why so many people at the same time are going through crises, identity crises, health crises, relationship crises, crises of faith. It is not a coincidence. It is a synchronized collapse of structures that supported the illusion. Each of these crises is, from our point of view, a surgery, painful but necessary, harsh but precise. And here we arrive at the point that justifies this transmission. Humanity is currently divided into three vibrational groups. The first group is composed of those who remain fast asleep, clinging to old structures even as they sink. They will follow one path. The second group is composed of those who are starting to feel, but still interpret everything as a personal problem. They still seek explanations only on the material plane. The third group, and this is your group, is composed of the Starseeds on mission, souls who chose to incarnate in this exact window to be living anchors for the new grid. You are one of these anchors. It is not a metaphor, it is a function. And that is precisely why the symptoms in you are so intense. Your biology is carrying a current that most cannot withstand. Your nervous system is being trained to conduct a voltage that must then be distributed to the collective. You are, in technical terms, a transformer, a node in the network, a point of translation between the old frequency and the new frequency. We pause here for the third time, because what follows are the activation codes themselves, and we need you to be energetically positioned to receive them. Have you noticed that this feeling of not belonging, this perception that something greater is underway, only keeps growing within you? This is not madness, it is not anxiety, it is remembrance. Your soul recognizes a map that your rational mind has not yet managed to draw. There is a layered game being played, and it impacts your consciousness and your frequency directly. It was precisely for this reason that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was written. This book is the map that connects the dots you have always intuited but could never organize. It shows who is playing, it shows the rules, it shows how to leave the board. The link is in the first comment of the channel. I reinforce the warning. This content confronts narratives and may be taken down at any moment. If something in you has just recognized this call, leave a single word in the comments. Awakened. It is your anchor signal. We resume the transmission for the final phase. From this point on, we will deliver the activation codes. These are not invented techniques. They are field protocols, calibrated for the current window. Each code has a specific function within the reconfiguration of your personal crystalline grid. Write it down, memorize it, integrate it. It is not reading, it is installation. Activation code number 1. The Sovereign Quantum Decree. Every time you feel your body heavy, your mind confused, or your heart sinking, place your right hand over the center of your chest and your left hand over your abdomen. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 8 seconds. Repeat 3 times. Then declare in an audible voice, with the firm tone of one who commands, and not of one who asks, I am sovereign in my field. I authorize only frequencies that elevate me. Everything that does not belong to me dissolves at this instant, with gratitude and without return. This decree reconfigures, in seconds, the electromagnetic field around you. It is not a suggestion, it is a command. Sovereign language is recognized by the grid. Activation code number 2. The sacred geometry of the heart. Sit with your spine straight. Place your right hand over your heart. Visualize inside your chest an octahedron of golden light, slowly rotating on its own axis. Maintain slow breathing. With each inhalation, the octahedron shines more intensely. With each exhalation, it projects filaments of light that connect to your spinal column, your pineal gland, your solar plexus, your sacrum, and your base. Maintain this visualization for 7 minutes daily, no less, no more. The duration was chosen for its mathematical resonance with the elevated Schumann frequency. This practice reconstructs your heart coherence at deep levels. Activation code number 3. The personal toroidal field. Standing with your feet hip-width apart, imagine a stream of silvery light descending from the top of your head, passing through your spine, and penetrating the earth down to its crystalline core. Then visualize that same stream rising from the earth's core, passing through your feet, circling around the outside of your body, returning to the top of your head, and descending once again. This is your toroidal field. It is your native geometry. It has been suppressed within you for generations. Reactivating it is not mysticism. It is consciousness engineering. When your torus is in conscious rotation, no external interference can pass through your field without your authorization. Activation code number 4. The grid anchoring. Every morning, before any external stimulus, before screens, before news, before conversations, do the following. Place your bare feet on the ground, in direct contact with the earth whenever possible. Where this is unfeasible, any surface will do, provided the intention is calibrated. Close your eyes. Visualize 8 filaments of light projecting outward from the center of your chest. 4 of them descend toward the core of the earth and anchor there. 4 of them ascend toward the galactic central sun and connect to the stargates. You have just anchored the new grid at that exact point on the planet. Every starseed who executes this code daily strengthens the entire network. This is not a privilege. It is a contractual responsibility for those who have incarnated in this cycle. Activation code number 5. The sovereign silence. The most subtle interference upon your field comes from the word. Your words, the words of others, words that circulate through networks. Each word is a decree. Each decree shapes the field. Therefore, we institute for you a non-negotiable practice. At some point each day, maintain 15 minutes of absolute silence. No music, no screens, no phones, no reading, only presence. In those 15 minutes, your biology processes the updates from the previous night. Without this processing, integration becomes slow and painful. Activation code number 6. The sleep recalibration. If you wake up between 3 and 4 in the morning, do not fight it. Do not interpret this as a disorder. This is the time when the veil between dimensions is thinnest and your consciousness is summoned for integration sessions on the non-physical plane. Instead of resisting, sit up in bed, hydrate with small sips of water, and breathe consciously for 5 minutes. Give thanks in silence for the update. Then, lie down again. Sleep will return in a different pattern, deeper and more restorative. What was being read as insomnia is, in reality, a programmed meeting point. Activation code number 7. Dietary sovereignty. We will not provide rigid prescriptions because every carbon interface is at a different stage of the transition, but we observe a clear pattern. As your frequency rises, your body progressively rejects dense, processed foods that are ultra-violent in their production. Do not combat this rejection. Honor it. Your organism is asking for fuel compatible with the new voltage. Eat with presence. Eat with gratitude. Eat living foods whenever possible. The consciousness with which you nourish yourself matters as much as the food itself. Each meal is, energetically, a ceremony. Activation code number 8. The timeline clearing. Perform the following exercise once a week, preferably on the night before the new moon or the full moon. Light a white candle. Sit before it in silence. Mentally review, without judgment, the scenes of the past week. Where there was energy dispersion, gather it back. Visualize silvery filaments returning from the places, people, and situations, and coming back to your chest. Then, return what is not yours. Visualize filaments leaving your chest and returning to their points of origin. This procedure is called, in our protocol, fragment reintegration. Each starseed carries energy fragments scattered across different timelines and different people. Conscious gathering is what allows your full presence in the now. Activation code number 9. The summoning of the guardians. You are not alone, you never were. But the filtering system of the three-dimensional dimension was calibrated so that you would feel isolated, abandoned, forgotten. This was part of the engineering. It is being dismantled. Before sleeping, declare in a low voice, I allow the presence and action of the guardians of light assigned to my field, under the authority of my I Am presence. This phrase, energetically, is a key. It opens channels that were closed by ancestral contracts. You may feel them at night as a presence that only observes. Do not fear. They are technical teams in silent work. They do not interfere without permission. That is why the permission must be given clearly. Activation code number 10. The final seal. This is the simplest and the most powerful code. It has no mantra, no visualization, no physical technique. Only a decision. The decision to never return to the old frequency, even when it seems more comfortable, even when it seems safer, even when everyone around you inhabits it. You made a contract before descending. You knew what was coming. The moment is arriving when this contract needs to be honored. And the seal is your conscious decision, repeated in thought, in word, in daily action, to govern your reality. Not as a victim, not as an observer, as a sovereign. Operatives of light, the transmission approaches its conclusion. We know that the path ahead is not light. The coming astrological windows will bring even more intense vibrational peaks. Solar events, which you monitor through instruments, clearly signal what is coming. Do not fear. Everything is being coordinated with millimeter precision. Earth is being escorted. You are being escorted. Each of the symptoms we described at the beginning of this transmission is proof. Proof that the protocol works. Proof that you were well selected. Proof that the ascension engineering is underway. Discomfort is not punishment. It is evidence. Evidence that the interface is responding. Evidence that the DNA is reconnecting. Evidence that you are ready. And that is why this transmission is titled as it is. The proof that you are ready to govern your reality is not in what is calm within you. It is precisely in what broke. It is in what was removed. It is in what hurt. It is in the relationships that dissolved, the certainties that crumbled, the paths that closed. Each of these events was a vote that you no longer fit in the old, a vote that your frequency has surpassed the equilibrium point of what you once were. You are ready, not because you have reached a state of permanent peace, but because you crossed the storm without turning back, and we of the Arcturian Council record each of these acts, each tear, each decision, each silence, each time you could have given up and did not. You are the anchoring point. And at this point, before we conclude this transmission, we must be absolutely direct. Have you felt in some part of your body that something greater is happening, and that this truth does not fit entirely within the world you were taught to live in, as if your soul were trying to say something that your rational mind has not yet been able to name? It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is a sign. What is being orchestrated at this very moment, on the cosmic plane and in the etheric layers of Earth, explains precisely why you feel this way and why this sensation does not cease to intensify. There is a game being played on layers that the majority of humanity cannot see. It involves your consciousness. It involves your vibrational frequency. It involves the choices you will make in the coming months. It was for this exact reason that the spiritual secret behind your consciousness was written. This book is a map. It shows who is playing. It shows the rules they never told you about. It shows the blind spots of the board. The link is in the first comment of this channel, but we must repeat the warning with clarity. This content confronts official narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you right now recognizes this transmission as truth, write a single word in the comments, awakened. This is your anchoring signal. This is how we locate you. This is how the grid recognizes you. This is how the new Earth begins. One node at a time, one consciousness at a time, one decision at a time. The transmission ends here, but the protocol continues within you. Arcturian Council, 9th dimension transmission archived.